Hi there, my name is Larry Thompson. I'm here to discuss health and safety issues that apply to the Book Arts Lab, located in the heart of Macodrum Library at Carleton University. All the information presented here is available in the Health and Safety section of the Labs page on the library website. All labs contain risks, but you might be surprised to learn that the Book Arts Lab is probably safer than other kinds of labs, say in the sciences or fine arts. Here, most of the tools or machinery are operated by hand or even by foot, giving the operators a tremendous amount of control over the speed and operation of the presses. The greatest cause of accidents in labs and workplaces are haste and exhaustion. Our Book Arts Lab is a place to experiment with the merger of old book technology with emerging tech and new ideas. Convergent technology in a place of learning. What it is not is a production facility, and this eliminates the need for undue haste or speed while working on assignments. If you're tired or stressed, just take a break as long as you need. Likewise, if you're operating presses or equipment in the lab while exhausted or in a mad rush, you'll be asked politely to take a break. Your safety is more important than any other concern. Eliminating both the need for speed and working while tired covers about 95% of the hazards in this lab. The remaining hazards can be broken into 5 groups. First lead, then inks, the third would be solvents and glues, then sharps, and finally what I call pinchers. Let's start with lead, because lead is a well-known toxin. The Book Arts Lab houses lots and lots of beautiful lead type. For centuries, type sorts like these were the only commercially expedient way to print text. Around 1900, hot type from linotype machines produced lines of lead type composed from a keyboard, but we only use what is referred to as cold type. Lead is soft and produces dust that can cause serious harm when ingested or inhaled. We hear dust and think, like normal dust, that is suspended in the air. But lead dust is heavy. To make it airborne means it has to be really forcefully blown or somehow kicked up. We must all be cautious when moving type drawers to avoid spills called pieing the type. We can easily eliminate lead dust on the surfaces of cabinets, tools, and floors with good regular cleaning habits during work, along with weekly cleaning regimens. Mostly, lead dust ends up on our hands as we set type. Lead is not readily absorbed through the skin, but lead dust transferred to hands, skin, or clothing can easily get into your mouth by eating, drinking, or simply touching your eyes, nose, or mouth. Avoid applying lip balm or gloss. For this reason and others, eating and drinking are not allowed in the print room, except in approved circumstances. A thorough washing of hands will remove all traces of lead. Students must wash their hands after handling type, and they may also wish to use a barrier cream. The lab also comes equipped with medical-grade nitrile gloves and masks suitable for particulates. Moving to inks, here in the lab we used oil-based or rubber-based printing inks, much the same as commercial printers use to print books, magazines, and newspapers. Printing inks rolled out on inking plates or on the presses have a slight odor which is not harmful. Ink on the skin can be removed with detergents. For solvents and glues, we use a combination of oils and mineral spirits to wash up ink. Regular cooking oil can be used to clean up most of the ink. Then we finish off with a bit of low-odor Varsol. Then for rubber rollers, a rejuvenating compound. With proper care, the rollers could last a lifetime. Used in moderation and with care, these substances are safe to use. We use standard machine oil to keep the presses moving smoothly. For bookbinding, we use a glue called PVA, or polyvinyl acetate, a fancy word for what is essentially white glue. Like what we all used for art projects in grade school and high school. It's water-soluble, washes off easily, and rarely irritates the skin. The Book Arts Lab is a well-ventilated, clean, bright space with high ceilings. A storage room in the lab is vented separately. If sensitivity is required, we can limit the use of solvents to that storage room. The lab supplies dust masks and protective eyewear to shield eyes from caustic or irritating materials. Use the sink in the classroom to flush your eyes with water if required. Next, sharps would include knives, blades, cutters, sewing needles, awls for piercing, engraving tools, wood cutting gouges, leather skiving tools, pretty much anything that might break the skin. Once again I say, working slowly, well rested, mostly eliminates the risk of injury. The lab has a first aid kit located centrally in the bindery near the door leading to the press room. Only authorized individuals can use the paper cutter and the bookboard cutter. The rest of the time, they'll be locked securely. Finally, we have what I call pinchers, which could be something as small as a tiny pair of needle nose pliers, right up to the clamshell-like platens on the massive Chandler and Price press. But platen presses are over a century old and lack any foolproof safety features. But again, when used slowly with an alert operator, they are safe to use. The clamshell opens and closes onto the type to produce a print, so the peril lies in getting fingers or hands pinched inside the platen as it closes on the form. We'll teach everyone who prints on the platens the correct protocols which, when followed, rule out almost any risk. All presses and equipment in the lab will be operated with a supervisor or spotter present to watch for issues as they arise. There are a few other points I have to make. You need to wear proper footwear in the lab. No open-toed shoes, sandals, flip-flops, and the like. I recommend something solid and comfortable. You may find yourself on your feet for a long time. A sturdy pair of running shoes would suffice. Tuck in loose clothing that is flapping about, or make use of one of the work aprons available to you in the lab. The same goes for hair, which you can tie back or tuck into a hat. Finally, I should think this bit of advice would be common sense, but I'll say it anyway. Alcohol and drugs aren't permitted in the lab. Don't work on the equipment when you're drunk, stoned, or buzzed. In the case of an emergency, immediately call 911. To ensure that all people are aware of the Book Arts Lab guidelines and operations, everyone is required to sign a copy of the Book Arts Lab contract. Amongst other issues, this contract confirms that everyone has read the handbook and pledges to follow the principles stated in it. As a practical vehicle, this will allow faculty and staff to know that all lab users are well aware and understand the regulations. Thank you and welcome to the Book Arts Lab.